So, have you been interested as a pro developer in what you can do with Power Pages, but never really dove into it? I mean, certainly that's where I find myself. I've been a model-driven app and Canvas app developer for a long time. I'm a pro developer, but I've always sort of kept Power Pages at arm's length. It's never been this kind of capability that I really wanted to dive into. Well, luckily for me, Garrett Pierce has done all that technical deep dive. He's done the research. He's found some really amazing capabilities that really sort of unlock possibilities for pro developers in this space. And today, he's going to be teaching me about how to do those things because I know nothing about Power Pages. I have managed to avoid them my entire career, even since the ADX Studio days. And Garrett is actually going to force me to come around and actually learn how to do these things for a change. So, Garrett, let's get started. You've told me a little bit about it in the basics, right? But I want to start from the ground up. Let's build something really simple as a pro dev. What's the simplest kind of one atomic thing, like a hello worldy kind of thing that we can do?
Yeah, so we're gonna do something pretty simple and easy. We're basically just gonna do, I'm calling it an accordion, but it's really just kind of a button that shows and hides a little bit of text. So we're, gonna keep it pretty simple today, but that'll show us a little bit of all that we need to know. So I guess to start off, we're gonna talk about web templates for a moment. So web templates are a thing in Power Pages that you can use to basically develop custom things. And as a relatively new capability, you can create reusable code components within web templates. This is something that Microsoft recently added to the Power Pages ecosystem.
Okay, so
And
we as a pro dev, we build these web templates. We're not building web sites. Is that kind of it? Like kind of
that's
like the way
true.
pro devs build PCFs for model driven apps. We don't build the whole app. We build that PCF control and then other people use it.
Yeah, so Power Pages is pretty fantastic in that it like kind of you can basically spin up a simple site in a couple, minutes really, using they have a bunch of templates as well, which not to be confused with web templates, the thing that we'll be working with. But yeah, they have a bunch of templates for their websites. So we can actually look right here. I've got one pulled up. So this is a basic unmessed with Power Pages site. You see it's got a home page, access denied, page not found. This is pretty much what you see as soon as you spin it up, and you can start adding components to do all sorts of different things. And it's got this component library already, but we're going to be able to do some custom things here, and really kind of unlock a lot more capability.
So we can add our own components to that library. Is that what these web templates are?
Yeah,
Oh,
we can
awesome.
add our own components. Yeah, so with web templates, we're going to be able to actually create our own components in the same way that you'd kind of create like a React component or something like that, right? So
Yeah, cool.
there's a ton of capability here, and we're going to start small with just basic HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript, but we're going to work all the way up to using, actual JavaScript frameworks to create pretty incredible reactive components. So
Okay. You got me
yeah,
interested. You got me interested. All right. All
yeah.
right. You've
So yeah,
tickled
we're
my pro
starting
dev
small.
fancy. Let's do this thing.
That's exactly, yeah. So we're gonna start small. There's a piece of documentation in Microsoft's Power Pages documentation. I will link to it in the description. And I encourage you to read over it. It kind of tells you a little more about what's possible, gives you the overview, but I'm also going to give you my own little overview. So we are actually going to start by doing what is called a manifest. Now, if you're a PCF developer, you're probably pretty familiar with manifests already. This one's going to look kind of different, but it is not dissimilar in its purpose, which is to make sure that you are, or give you all the parameters you need to get this working as a bigger component in Power Pages. So, typing and talking, not my strength. So yeah, we're gonna start just the basics here. We're not gonna go too deep into the manifest, but you basically just need to set up type here. You gotta have your tags for manifest and end manifest type, which is gonna be functional in every case that we're going to cover. That is in the documentation. It explains why, but basically, yeah, you just have to make it functional in order for it to be a functional component.
Could we have like
So
a
we're
non-functional component that's like a reusable library essentially of a library of functions that we can call on instead of
That's
presenting
a
a
good
UI?
question. Not in web templates, but you can use web files, which is another entity within. the Power Pages ecosystem, and we'll actually be getting to that in the next video. I'll show you how to kind of add resources like JavaScript and CSS, and then you'll be able to pull those into your web templates and have more things going on. So yeah, we're just going to give this a quick display name, a quick description, and then I'm going to include two other things that we're not going to really get too deep into today. It's going to be tables, and we're just going to kind of give that an empty array for the time being. And then params, and again, don't worry too much about this today. We're going to be covering that in the future, just an essential thing for us to do in order to get our component working. So we're going to start off pretty simple. You will actually notice in the normal HTML engine, it does just render as plain HTML. We'll kind of just leave that because it'll get erased when we
manifest will get picked up.
Yeah, it'll get picked up by the engine that does Power Pages. But we're going to start off.
Or in an M365 app, you do this in a separate file and everything. Here, you're just doing it in the same file, and the platform will rip it out.
Yeah, so you're going to use the web template interface. We're kind of just going to copy and paste into the source field here.
Okay.
But I wanted to develop in VS Code just because it's a little bit of a nicer experience. So,
because you're not a masochist, right?
Yes, exactly, precisely. So we're just going to start off pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and make a simple button, and we're just going to say show more, and that is going to be a button that will show more when we tell it to. So right now, it doesn't do anything. We can click it, nothing happens. We haven't told it to do anything. So let's give it a little bit of content to work with, and call this accordion one content, just as its ID. And then, oh, I didn't do end quotes, that's why. And then we're going to go say, hello, I am content. Cool. So we've got that. Actually, let me wrap this in a div real quick, just so it has, yeah. There we go. So now it's actually sitting on its own thing rather than inline here. So yeah, we've got just our starter. We've got a button, got a little bit of content here, and we want to be able to show and hide. So in order to do that, we are going to add our style tag, which is going to actually contain attributes that will show and hide. We're just going to do, a little bit of display magic thanks to the wonder of CSS. So we're going to set up our first class here, which is going to be accordion toggle. We're going to go ahead and do display block on that. We're going to do accordion content. You can probably see where I'm going with this. And we'll do display none. And then we're going to go ahead and do accordion content dot active. Okay. And then we'll do display block there. All right. So any questions so far, Charles?
No, that makes sense. I mean, we got a couple of basic classes. I mean, there's nothing rocket science about that. Did we display
nothing crazy? Right? Yeah. So we're going to bump back up. We're going to go ahead and apply the first class, which is we want the button to have accordion toggle. So thankfully it suggested for us. And then similarly, we want class here to be accordion content. And you'll notice it actually disappeared here because our accordion content has display none. So yeah, it's gone. But where is it? Well, we're gonna figure out how to make it pop back in. So we want our button to actually do something, because as it stands, our button doesn't do a single thing. So like it's clickable, you can click it, it acts like it's getting clicked, but the click doesn't actually do anything. So we got to tell it what to do when you click. So we're going to go ahead and build a quick little function. And this is pretty easy JavaScript. We're just going to call it toggle accordion. And we're going to go ahead and say, we're going to grab a var, call it, actually it should be a let because this is 2025. So we're going to do document get element by ID. And then we're going to say that is accordion one content. And so that, why does it keep doing no quotes? That's weird. Yeah, so it'll go ahead and grab our accordion content.
It should be a const, shouldn't it? You're not going to redefine that.
That's
Oh,
actually true. Yeah, so why not? Let's make it a const. Let's do some best practices here today. Um, we're gonna
anytime
go
you
say,
need someone to ESLint on you, I got you.
yeah, Charles is my own personal ESLint. Yeah. um, so we'll do. We're gonna play with the class list here. So class list is a property that DOM elements have in JavaScript. It's basically the list of CSS classes that are applied to it. So we're gonna go ahead and say if the class list contains active, which is related to this active right here, accordion content.active.
Then we'll rip it out.
Whoa, did not mean to scroll down. We'll go ahead and say, oh my gosh, the cat just jumped up on my desk and almost fell. Hello. Because I'm in standing mode right now, so it's
quite a
quite
height.
a leap for her. But sorry, we're gonna do accordion content class list, remove active. You can probably see here's the tail proving the cat is on the desk. Oh, so we're basically gonna take off the active class
Right.
from the accordion content there. And then if it doesn't have active, what do you think we want to do?
And we'll add the active.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to add the active back. Whoops. I am trying to type around cat. Here. Oh, this is cat. That's cat on floor. And then we'll do. Oh no, sorry. Not contains. We're going to do add. Sorry, I was distracted by cat as per usual. And that is pretty much it for our JavaScript. So we're just kind of adding and removing the .active from our component. So let's see. Does it work? No. Let's see. And the reason why is because we actually have to do one more thing on our button, which is to say, yeah, we have to actually attach. Yeah, so we can use onClick here. Or that's, yeah, lowercase. And then we're just going to say toggle accordion, and you got to use your parenthesis here. And then let's try it now. Oh, hello, I am content. I am no longer content. So we're back and forth. All right. Now the last part of what we want to show here is actually going to be adding this to Power Pages. So as far as I know, there's no tooling that will just kind of bump it over to Power Pages. I guess if you're using like the extension, you can kind of edit it within your Power Pages context and then save it. I haven't been doing that, but just been copy pasting, which is certainly a clunky way, but we'll figure out and probably do another video on how to better deploy these sorts of things. So we have basic accordion here. It's our web template record. Web template records are actually like super simple. They're really just 4 fields. They're the name, the website that you want it attached to, your source code, which is a field of its own, and then MIME type, which I usually just leave blank. So it's not super relevant for our purposes. So we're back to the Power Pages editor. We're going to go ahead and hit sync. It's going to sync. This always takes a second. Oh, pretty snappy today. And then we'll jump into here, and you'll notice under custom components, we now have basic accordion in addition to some other things, which don't pay attention to these yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. So we're going to go ahead and add basic accordion, and you'll notice now there's a button on the screen. It says show more. And it actually doesn't work within the editor.
Yeah, script is disabled or something like that.
Yeah, script is disabled, I believe.
Yeah, you don't want like a lot of script events firing when you're just
right. Yeah, there's already enough going on. But so if I hit show more, hello, I am content. I am no longer content. Back and forth. So that is just about it for today. Any questions I can answer for you, Charles?
Well, I guess you're going to get into all the answers to my questions in follow-on sessions, right?
This is true.
All right, so I'm going to want to know more about how I can start to break this up, because having one file with all my stuff, that kind of is pretty junky. I want to be able to reuse
Yeah.
JavaScript libraries. I want to be able to reuse classes. I don't want to have to redeclare my classes in every single file. I want to know
Yeah.
more about that manifest for sure, and like how
Yeah.
you use it, kind of, because I'm coming from a PCF background. I've done a lot of M365 apps. I know that the manifest is where we can declare a lot of stuff, and I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing those are all in the future. For now,
Yep.
I think
No.
what you've done though is a pretty good encapsulation of like, hey, I can build something atomic. It can be quick to deliver, and then we can hand it off to somebody else who's going to drop it in any one of
Hmm.
a lot of different Power Pages, and that's pretty cool. That starts to get us to that kind of the old promise of those fusion teams, which people don't really talk about anymore, but it does exist, right? There's a real
Yeah.
need for that. You don't always have an entire team full of pro devs. Sometimes it's a
Hmm.
mix, and we got to figure out how to do the things that we're best at.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, so yeah, for that's it for today. If you check us out in the next video, we're going to be covering what Charles mentioned. How do you have like reusable resources that you can tap into? So we'll be covering that next. And that's all we have for today. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all soon.
Thanks, Garrett. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.